Okay. Um, I'm tired. You're gonna see. So I'm still in the middle of moving. I went and picked up some more stuff today. Plus, I had to go to town and 100 million other things. But yesterday, my son, you're gonna see in this video, picked some wild plums and blackberries, and then a week or so ago, he got some black raspberries for me. So I was thinking, I was really dreading those, working that up, but it was actually ended up kind of fun with the plums. You'll see that in a minute. You know, talking about getting things ready, it used to be years ago, everybody did that. They took their fall produce, fruit, they would go out foraging for things that were ripening in this is harvest time, September, October. And they would prep their stuff for the winter and get ready. I think that it's a really good thing to do because a lot of people only have enough food in their fridge to last a few days. They go shopping every week or maybe every day. Some in town, I guess. Some probably never cook at home. They just eat out. I don't think that's real good for you. But it is kind of fun. But I wanted to share with you a few things I've learned. I've been kind of prepping somewhat, but in the middle of so much chaos in my own life since 2020, really before then, but it seems like it's always that way, but with everything else. And I've learned a few things. You know, you'd say, well, wow, it's 3 years later and nothing happened and you did all that food storage and this and that. I learned a lot. I was already raised, my grandmother canned and had stuff in her garage, shelves of canned goods and things like that. And and my mom, she didn't do a whole lot of that because she worked full time, but she did do some canning. She'd get together with mom and grandma, my sister. A lot of the ladies in the family got together and canned. And I think there was a time or two we had some of the husbands, maybe my sister's husband or I don't know if my brother did. I can't remember. Seems like we had a guy in the kitchen once or twice. I don't remember who it was. Most of the time it's just us women because the guys were out working, you know. But, and a lot of times women do too, like my mom, but she would take a weekend and go down to grandma's and a bunch of us would meet there and peel peaches and can or tomatoes or whatever we happened to be working on. So I kind of have that in my background. I remember many, many years ago when I was like in my 30s and I was canning stuff and nobody did that back then, hardly. And they they were just some of the other, no, I was in my late teens and early 20s, and some of my friends, they were saying, wow, you can? That's cool. You know how to can? You know how to can food? That's really neat. But in the 70s, that started picking up, and we went through a period of time where a lot of people kind of went back to the land, and then that kind of died out, and the 80s and 90s especially died out in the early 2000s. The early 2000s seems, in 90s, late 90s and early 2000s seemed to be really more people were focused on technology than anything else. Is what it seemed to me. Now, I'm sure there's pockets of this and that all around, but where people did things differently. But that's in what I was seeing. But I started concentrating a little more on it. Probably 2018 I started a little bit. Of course, because by the time 2020 came, I was thankful that I had some stuff. And I had mainly though a lot of herbs. I was working with my herb garden and all that. I was making videos for YouTube on it all. But some of the things that I did learn in getting more involved in more prepping is that your whole wheat flour will spoil. It will turn moldy green on you if you let it set too long. Um, so I'm a little more careful about that. And I've learned about sealing the dried goods. And I've showed that on earlier videos a few years back with my little hand sealer and how I was sealing my herbs and dried goods and stuff. That seems to help too. And I'm learning how to rotate more. I'm more focused. I was rotating some, but not being thorough enough in that. And so I learned that some things like I found that condensed milk, when it says it's done and it's past the date, you might get another year out of it. But I've got some that's like a year and a half, 2 years past the date, and it's separated and lucky looking, and I don't want to use it. It might have been okay, but I wasn't going to take the chance. So, but there's other things that are been out of date that seem just fine. So I'm kind of learning a little bit more about that. I'm learning to be more focused on my rotating and using it more. These are just a few of the things that I've learned on that. All this noise you hear in the background is my creek. Let me show you what's going on there. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is where I'm interjecting from yesterday where my son was picking the wild plums and blackberries and stuff. So that's what this is. And then we'll go back to the creek in a few minutes. I have a few more things that I thought was important to talk to you about. Okay, that's what's the last of those little yellow plums. I wasn't going to videotape it, but I videotaped my son. He took his machete, chopped down brambles and blackberry bushes and that brambles growing out so he could get to the wild plum tree, little yellow plums. Yellows, orange. Man, they're good too. I should have saved some to eat. I squished them all. Anyway, I was kind of dreading this, but I got them in here and I just started popping them. I've got a bunch in the jar. I've done a couple other panfuls. And you pop them like those little things filled with air that they pack packages with, and they're kind of, everybody loves to pop. Well, these plums were the perfect. They were really ripe, and I've just got my hands in there, and I'd be popping them, pop, 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 and get them all popped. Now I'll go through here and strain it and squeeze all the good stuff out and throw the skins and the seeds away. And I've got a whole bunch of wild plum stuff. I don't know what I'm going to make with it. Really hate making jam because I hardly ever eat jam, but if I make this jam, I'm going to eat some of it. Maybe I'll put it on my pancakes or something instead of syrup. But I hate to cook it and get rid of the vitamin C, but there still should be some vitamin A maybe left and other things. So anyway, it wasn't so bad. It was kind of fun, but it's just that I had so much to do because he also picked a bunch of blackberries, which I washed, and I happened to have enough room in my little freezer there that I got. It's just a little tiny freezer, but anyway, yeah, it's not bad at all. So I've got wild plums and wild blackberries, and then he picked some wild black raspberries the other day that I froze. So this is really neat. It's so exciting getting stuff set back for winter. I'm in the middle of still moving and organizing. It's been hard because I'm so busy. I've been eating my tomatoes from my garden that I picked before I moved up here, and I picked a couple more. They're really green, but actually I didn't pick them. They came off when they were moving the plants. I think they're too green. They were telling me make fried green tomatoes, but there's just a couple. They're kind of small. But anyway, it's been kind of exciting, and I am a bit tired, but I just thought I'd share this all with you. Wild foods are wonderful. So full of vitamins and minerals, and they're just good for you because they've been out in the wild and they haven't been messed with, and there's no sprays where we picked them along my creek here. They were just down a ways. I could see them, but they were surrounded by blackberry brambles, but the tree was hanging over the creek, so he just had to cut some of the long branches that were hanging into the creek, which needed to be cleaned out anyway. And then he got to the tree, and I gave him a tarp, and he laid it down there. There must have been a little bit of a bank or something there, and he reached what he could with the bag, as you'll see in the film, and then others he cut some branches, and because it needed to be trimmed too, that old wild plum tree. But it was all hanging over. It was so full of fruit he couldn't even get to a 16th of the fruit that's just still loaded, and there's no way to get to it all. I couldn't have processed it all anyway. Well, at least the wild animals and birds can eat it. So much for that. I will close on this part. See, again, I'm down here at the creek. The owner is back up working around here, and the have neighbors and visitors. It's Labor Day weekend in 2023, and there's people around, and they're going to think I'm absolutely nuts talking to myself or to my camera constantly, or my phone. So I try to get where they don't say, who's she talking to? There's nobody over there. And it's kind of nice and pleasant hearing the creek running. I hope it's not reverberating so much in the sound that you can't understand what I'm saying. Because I'm trying not to talk too loud, but loud enough the camera can hear. Anyway, keep on prepping, keep on working. We don't know, we can tell each year it's gotten worse and worse, a little slower going. A lot of us thought things were going to go sooner than it did, but it's definitely going. It is definitely going. And I think we're going to go through a period of time, I don't know how long, maybe several months, maybe a few years, I don't know. It's going to take a while to get back on our feet, but we haven't totally crashed yet. Some people are doing just fine, but us poor folks, it's really hit hard. People that were just lower middle class, maybe, is really hit hard. And like I said in my, I think I did another video where I said, like, the single women and older people, there are just some groups of us that have really hitting hard. And it has been for a while for some. So anyway, don't give up prepping. You don't know what's going to happen, and you can see all the catastrophes that are happening. Some people have lost their preps, but some have had preps to share with those that did lose it. So, yeah, don't look negative on it. Look positive. It's a good thing. In our country, people used to be prepared for the long winter, like I said, or catastrophes that might happen, or somebody breaking their leg. Maybe the man worked the farm and couldn't get out of bed, but they had some stuff canned up and this and that. It's always good to be prepared. We are going through a change, and be prepared. And I'm going to leave you with that. And also, I think the most preparedness thing that you can do is your relationship with God through His Son, Jesus Christ. That's the most important first thing you need to focus on, because it's only by the grace of God can we get through things. I know it's only been by the grace of God that I've gotten through a lot of things. And still trying to be faithful to Him, trying to stand for what's right. That's so important. No matter what happens, like the Hebrew children, they told that king, even when they went to throw him in the furnace, they said, we will not bow down to another idol, only our Lord God. And whether He saves us, I'm paraphrasing this, and they said whether He saves us from the furnace or not, we will not bow down to a false god. So we need to not bow down to this world and its system and everything, but do what we know is right through the Lord and through His guidance, and keep prepping, keep praying, praying, and preparing. And I will catch you all next time.